to be able to get your bank account is your report card. Imagine if you go to school every day, you don't do any, you're in the building, but you don't go in it, you don't do anything, you don't listen to the teacher, you don't turn in assignments, right? You're there, you're going to school, but you're flunking out. What does that mean? Who cares if you're showing up if you're not actually doing the work and you're not learning and growing? You're not going to keep passing to the next level. And guess what? Your report card will reflect that. And your bank account is your report card in entrepreneurship. Your report card will reflect your activity. So find out, sit down with your coach if you're thinking, what should I be doing all day? I don't really know what my schedule should be. I don't feel like I'm as effective as I should. Process these conversations. Have your things that you know you need to do every single day. Know exactly how many calls you're making, how many people you're reaching out to, how many prospects. Know these things for yourself and let that dictate your day. If you're going into your day thinking, hopefully something happens today, hopefully somebody will call me and magically want to have an appointment. Hopefully, I'll get matched out today. You're going to be like, hopefully I can pay my bills. That's how that's going to keep going, right? So if you want to get out of a hopeful business and you want to have a predictable business, if you want to get out of a hopeful situation with your finances, then you better start being intentional, because that's what it's going to take. Guys, front end activity, it equals results. It just does. Front end activity equals results. So many people are like so hung up on the outcome. So many people are like, oh, I freaking rocked it. I closed 10,000 points today and I'm like a killer, right? If that 10,000 points came from one appointment, great job, right? You got lucky maybe. But let's say that I have somebody who did 15 appointments and they closed 5,000 points. I'd rather that person every day of the week. Every day of the week. I'd rather somebody close smaller cases, doing more appointments, running more activity than the person who's going to run less appointments and get lucky with a big appointment or a big case. You know why? Because that person that has the tenacity, the strength, the person that's pushing themselves to have that front end activity, they're going to win in the long run. You cannot keep up with them. You can't, your one big case cannot keep up with somebody that's a freaking dog in the field, with somebody that no matter what, they're going to work. They're going to work. It doesn't matter the outcome. They're just going to keep getting better and getting better and getting better. They're going to keep working, because guess what? Those 15 appointments that they did, they're going to have second appointments with those. And over the long haul, they're going to make more money than you. Their business is going to be more successful than you. So the front end activity is where the money is. Everybody always wants to know, what is the secret? This is the secret. The secret is that you got to do the boring stuff. You got to do the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. You got to do the front end stuff. You got to prospect. Guys, we are a people business. People are our inventory. If we're not prospecting, if we're not talking to people, if we're not positioning ourselves to get in front of new faces and talk to new people, then what are you doing? You're going to run out of inventory. If you sold clothes for a living and you just had a building full of racks, and people keep coming in and buying clothes and taking the clothes away, at some point, you're not going to have anything to sell anymore. You're not going to have any more inventory, right? So if you're just relying on people that you know and people that are already in your market, then you're going to be out of people very quickly. And you might do well with those people, but eventually that's going to go away. You want to put yourself in a position to be making new friends, meeting new people. Guys, just yesterday, I've put some posts up and things like that. Just yesterday, somebody random, messages me and he's like, hey, I like your profile. Normally I'm like, okay, what do you want? Like, right? But this guy, he says, hey, I like your profile. I reached back. I said, thanks very much. What do you do? And he says, hey, I'm an attorney. I said, wow, where? Oh, I live in the DMV. Really? Some of my business partners just moved to the DMV. That's so interesting. Hey, we should jump on a call and have a conversation. He said, yeah, I live in the DMV, but my heart is in New York. Really? Are you from New York? Do you know people there? Because I'm like, hey, market. There's people. He knows people. Oh, he has a high identity. Imagine if I would have just blown him off and been like, oh, annoying. Somebody is messaging me on social media, right? Guys, you got to put out content. You have to reach out to people. And what's interesting about it is that the way that he found my profile is because I befriended somebody else that's in the DMV that was a friend of his. Okay, so it's interesting because then once you start friends stuff, your feeds start to come together. You start to see things that are happening in other people's feeds. And I would have never met this guy. Interesting, right? You never know what can happen. Prospect, reach out, field train, field train, field train, field train, field train. That is so important. Sometimes we think, like, let me tell you something. Getting prospecting and getting phone numbers, all that stuff, it's very important because that's your inventory. But once you have the inventory, what are you doing with it? How many times have you gotten 1,000,000 phone numbers in a week and you're like freaking rock star in the meeting when you're reporting your numbers, but then you don't have any activity come from it? You guys, follow up is so important. That's one of the biggest pieces that we leave out all the time in business. We don't reach out to the people to schedule appointments. We met all these people, and then it's happened to all of us. At one point, you see somebody in business, you go, oh crap, I talked to that guy before. I reached out to that guy. I actually prospected him before, and now he's in the business with somebody else, right? Don't let it happen to you. I'll tell you guys, this happened to us. There's a marketing director in MSM who was on a top 25 from somebody who quit the business. And we didn't even, like, it was like we tried to follow up, but they had burned the bridge, XYZ. But now they ended up getting started on MSM. It's like, oh, that freaking sucks. That sucks, right? Don't let it happen to you. It doesn't happen. It doesn't have to happen to you, right? If you just follow up, do the work, do the work, do the work. Get those names, and don't just let them be names and numbers in prospecting for the sake of prospecting so that you look good when you're reporting numbers. Let it be something that transitions into a great business, right? You got to get it field trained. If you're not field trained certified, get people in front of your marketing director. You have the easiest job in the entire business. All you have to do is get in front of people and get people in front of your MD. That's all you have to do. Take notes. Your job is to get in front of people, get them in front of your broker, and take notes. That is your job. You will literally get paid so much money. We have somebody in the company who literally made 6 figures just because she put people in front of her leaders. She took notes for a living and made 6 figures. This lady's name is Wendy Munoz. You might have heard of her, right? She put people in front of her brokers, in front of her people, and that's all she did. She's never ran a field training. She's never done an RI, made 6 figures. How doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound nice to not have to do all the heavy lifting? That's the great thing about our business, is that we have the opportunity to leverage. So utilize that. Make phone calls. Reach out to the people that you're calling. Reach out to the people you're getting their numbers from. Make phone calls. Reach out to people that you had on the top 25 a year ago. Reach out to the people that you talked to 6 months ago and they said they weren't interested right now. Follow up is very key. That's very, very key. Make sure that you're getting people through the filters. Make sure that they're getting fast started, right? Once they get started and they get coded, it's like, whoa, yeah, that was awesome. I got a recruit and they said my name and I got to talk for 5 minutes on the call, on the team call. But what else? Are you growing a business, right? Don't recruit just to recruit. Get them fast started. Make sure that they're going through the filters. Make sure that they're reaching for this 888. Make sure that they know what's going on, right? Do your top 25 list. Top 25 list is not just for your first week in business, people. Top 25 list is something that is ongoing. It's something that's going to help you continue to grow a very strong business. It's going to help you. These are all front end things. I know this is not exciting. I know it. I know you're like, oh, Spring, this is not exciting. But I'll tell you what, those checks are very exciting. And the way to get to those checks is this stuff, the front end stuff. Your field training, prospecting, phone calls, presentations, fast starts, a top 25 list, inviting guests onto the BOM, inviting guests. It doesn't matter if you invite 20 people and only 2 showed up. It doesn't matter. Guess what? That doesn't matter. Just do what you got to do to get them on your job is not in the outcome. Your job is in the doing. So it doesn't matter if they don't show up. You did your job if you invited people onto that call. Doing RIs, all of these things. Guys, I'm telling you, do not tie yourself to the outcome. Tie yourself emotionally, not to the outcome of the recruit, not to the outcome of the app, not to the outcome of the points. Tie yourself emotionally to the front end activity and have that be your DMAs. If you got 10 no's for the day, you did good. You did your goal, because guess what? You had to speak to them. You had to prospect them to get the no. Don't care if they say no. It's not about them saying no. It's about you doing the front end activity, because the more phone calls you make, the more people that you prospect, eventually you're getting closer and closer to your yeses. You're getting closer and closer to your yeses. And guess what? It's going to be inventory for you to come to your coach and say, hey, I did 25 prospects today and I didn't get a phone number. What can I? Then they're going to say, well, what are you saying? Let's tweak this. Let's pivot, right? We talked about that. This is going to help you get that inventory. That's so important, guys. So important to have these things. The front end is where you make the money. The front end is where you make the money. Writing business, getting people through the speed filters, the administrative part of getting the policies, all that stuff, all of that is back end. And the back end, it will make you money, but you can't make money without the front end. You can't get to the back end before you do the front end, right? So make sure that that is the number one thing that you are focused on, the number one most important piece. Okay, front end activity, it gets people in the system, and the back end is what gets people through the system. But you got to get people in the system to get somebody through the system, right? You want to become a marketing director? That's a back end. The first thing is to get to Fast Start School, right? To be a Fast Start School grad, that's a front end. You want to have some recruits? You got to prospect. That's the front end, right? You want to become an SVP? You gotta get an associate. You gotta become an associate. You get what I'm saying? These are the front end things, making calls, getting in front of people. Those should be the most important things that you are doing. You should feel like a freaking rock star if you are truthfully prospecting hundreds of people on social media every day. If you are truthfully going out, getting brand new phone numbers, if you are truthfully it doesn't matter if you haven't ran an appointment in a week. If you are focused on that, no matter what, it will come. It will come. You have no choice. Just don't abandon it. Sometimes people, when you start getting into the recruiting mindset and you start feeling like, you know what? I don't want to just be about these points and this and that. I want to be a recruiter. I want to make sure that I'm getting people in the system, because if Wendy Munoz can make $100,000 and hit SVP and she literally has never ran a field training or an RI before, I want to be in that game. Well, you have to keep in mind that on the front end, when she was focused only on the front end, that you're not getting paid the same day. You're not seeing your promotion the same day. Stay connected to the front end and know that it will not fail you. The front end will never fail you. So keep focused on that front end. Don't let your eye get off of that ball, because that's what's going to make you the millions. Pat Sapalas always talk about how people are always asking them, how did you become a millionaire? How did you do this? How did you do that? And everybody wants to hear this glamorous story about how they, went to Trump Towers and they met this millionaire, and the millionaire, let them become, write business on their employees of 500. And this is how they did it. Like, that sounds good, but that's not the truth. The way that they're doing it is that they're getting in the front end every single day. The way that they became millionaires first in the company is because Matt Sapala became a beast at the phones first in the company. He made phone zone something that was so important to his team first in the company. He started thinking captain system was the most important thing before people started doing that. So this is what you need to do. You need to be a captain every single week. You need to care about making sure that you're getting people's phone numbers and that you're speaking to new people. You have to care about having BOM guests. I don't think enough people care about having BOM guests. Guys, we're doing BOMs twice a week, and 2-3 people are on the call. 4 people are on the call. You have to care that there are guests on that call that are associated to your name, because that's where you make money, in that front end activity, about making sure that you have a packed out BOM, that you have a packed out Fast Start class, that you have so many people that you got to get them all together. Guys, I'm running these Fast Start calls, and there's 2-3 people on the call. There should be 20 people every single call, right? That's the front end. The front end is where you make the money. You want to be a millionaire? You want to be an SVP? You want to do these things? I mean, anywhere you look, the most successful people you can think of, Patrick Bet-David, you think of Steve Jobs, you think of, whoever it is, Kobe Bryant. These people are not just stars when the lights are on them. These people are showing up to the gym at 2 a.m. when everybody's asleep. These people are waking up and doing the work that nobody wants to do. So you want to be a star? Then you be a star of front end. You be a star of the front end when nobody's looking. And that's when your name will be shouted across the rooftops, because you're doing the stuff nobody wants to do. It's boring. but it's what makes you money. That's what makes you money and builds businesses. So I want to challenge you guys, learn the fundamentals and be fundamental focused. Okay. Front end is where it's at, and run a perfect week this week. I want to see you guys run a perfect week this week. Do 200 calls. Run the numbers. The numbers have never failed you when you've run them. Run the numbers. Do 200 calls this week. See what happens. Just see what happens. 200 calls this week. Do 25 prospects this week. See what happens. Just see what happens if I prospect 25 people. What happens? What happens if I do 20 appointments? Because guess what? If you start running those numbers, you're going to find 20 appointments. You're going to get into 20 appointments. That's 10 RIs. You want to do a minimum 10 RIs. You want to do 6 field trainings and have 4 fast starts that are happening within your organization. You run 200 calls. I dare you not to get one direct. It will happen. You do that. You do 200 calls and you do 25 prospects. You run those 10 RIs. You're going to get a direct. You're going to find a direct. And guess what? When you get into that new direct, you have a brand new market that's opened up. Therefore, 5,000 personal points. You'll find those 5,000 personal points. And when you're leading from the front, your team starts to see what you're doing. Your team starts to be inspired. You're running a perfect week. They want to run a perfect week. They start seeing you get success. They will start to want to do the same thing. Your team picks up your habits. For your perfect week, your team, you want your team to be doing 10 recruits in a week, 20,000 points in a week. But your team sees what you're doing. You want to find a flag carrier, be the flag carrier. I say that every single time. Be the flag carrier that you're looking for in your organization, and your team will start to learn the habits of a flag carrier from you. So important. So I'm telling you guys, I know that this was not a oh my gosh, this was the best conversation I've ever heard in my life. We talked about daily monitoring activities. We talked about seeking accountability. We talked about the fundamentals. We talked about front-end activity. We talked about doing a perfect week this week. Oh, mind blowing. This is exciting. I know this is not the exciting call that makes you get goosebumps, but this is the call that will help you understand. This is the conversation that's going to help you position yourself to start getting those A's on your report card. This is going to position yourself to become a player in the company. This is going to be and I'm telling you, you guys, right now, this is the most distractions that you've ever had in your life. You're at home. You're at home every single day. Nobody's over your shoulder saying, hey, make those calls. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, get off of social media. Nobody's telling you that. So you have to govern yourself. And I promise you, if you ever thought this, Pat always says it's wide open. It's wide open. The top is wide open. If the business was ever wide open, it is today. It is today to not just take over in the company, to take over in the industry. It is wide open today because people have human nature. People don't want accountability. People don't want to do the things that they don't want to do if nobody's pushing them to do it. So figure out how to find yourself in these conversations. Figure out how to let this stuff be the thing that pushes you, empowers you, and I promise you, you will take over. Your life will be forever changed. Your family will be saying, this is the person that changed our family's legacy. This is the person that changed our family's life. My great uncle, my great-great uncle, he made a decision. He decided to do the things that nobody else wants to do. So we now get to live a life that nobody else gets to live because of a decision that you make. So I hope that you make the decisions to do the little things this week, because the little things, that's what becomes the big things. I want to see multiple appointments. I want to see multiple calls. I want to see multiple prospecting. So then that way we know for a fact it's just a matter of time. It's coming on the other side. So I'm fired up for you guys this week. I hope that you guys are going to kill it this week. I hope you guys are excited about the fundamentals, about the front end. I hope you guys are excited to emotionally tie yourself, not to the outcome, but to what's going into that. I hope you're fired up about the fact that you can control this. A lot of times we feel like we can't control what's happening in our business, but you can. You can control what's happening in your business. It can be predictable. Entrepreneurship does not have to be unpredictable. It can be predictable. You can control it. And the great thing about it is you know what you need to change. It's nobody else. Nobody else is in control of your business. It's not that, Joel has to change for you to be able to make your money. It's not that, your upline has to be better for you to make your money. Nobody has to change but you. And you know what you need to change. You know what's keeping you from doing your 200 calls. You know that you're not prospecting. You know that you need to reach out. You know that you need to schedule time out. You know that you need to get a little bit more focused. You know that you need to, be careful of your associations, who's speaking into you. You know that you need to make more calls. You know you need to schedule more appointments. You know whatever it is. And the great thing about that is that you have in your hands the control to change it. So I'm fired up because you are going to change it this week. You're going to get a hold of these things. You're going to run a perfect week, and you're going to be able to reach out to me and say, Spring, I was on that call. Hey, I was on that call. And you were speaking to me. I wasn't doing the fundamentals. I wasn't doing the front end. I was hoping. I was in a hopeful business. I was hoping that I would get lucky, and I was hoping that I would, find a big case. I was doing two calls and inviting 3 people to the BOM and getting upset that nobody came, and I felt like it wasn't working. But I was on that call, and you reminded me that it wasn't working. It's that I wasn't working. And so now I got to work, and this week I ran a perfect week, and this is what's happening in my business. I'm fired up to have those phone calls. I'm fired up to hear those conversations, because guess what? If there's a lot of people on the call in this organization who are willing to sell out to that, nobody can touch you guys. And I'm fired up to see the company say, what the hell happened to Fortaleza? What the heck happened to this crazy little organization that nobody was talking about? I'm excited to see what's going to happen on the other side of this. So thanks so much for your time, guys. I hope that you guys got something from this call.
Man.
Let's go.
Oh.
I love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much, Spring, for your time and for just coming to pour into us, because I took so many notes. Seek accountability, more fast start school, daily accountability, connected front end activity, just so many notes. And it's so true. You're right. We need to be connected to that front end activity, because the eventuality of it is getting those directs, right? Helping those families, getting those points, putting Joel where he needs to be, getting UNC4 where you guys need to be. So very, very excited about everything that you just shared with the team. Thank you so much again for your time. I'm going to go ahead and implement this now. I don't know if y'all see it in my eyes, but I think I got a little more crazy because she said, bank account is the report card. I'm going to start using that. You guys see my eyes? I really think I just leveled up in my crazy. You guys know I'm crazy. But my bank account is going to be my report card from now on, and I'm not playing. So we could go ahead and stick with that. I just love it. Definitely going to be focusing more on the front end activity, and I want to duplicate that in my team, because Joel's been telling me for so long, and I didn't get it. I texted him yesterday and said, I finally get it, Coach. He's been telling me forever, 10% talent, 90% system. I'm like, yeah, Coach, yeah, I get it though. It's system. It's the blueprint. It's agent training. It's what we're always talking about. But I finally get it. And that's what DeVar was talking about when he said we finally had our team meeting, right? We're finally refast starting everybody. We're going to be sending at least 5 or 6 people to fast start school this month. Absolutely bet. You better believe it. 6 people will be qualified at least. Okay, so we're getting back to the fundamentals, like you said, and I'm really excited for everything that's going to be happening. I'm happy to be a flag carrier for Joel, to get him to where he needs to be, because you know that Joel is a flag carrier for you guys. So BTC is going to continue doing that. But again, Spring, thank you so much for your time. I'll be hitting you up with my activity report, you know what I'm saying? Let you know what I've been doing. But thank you so much, Spring. Cool. Wow. Anybody want to give some quick takeaways? Let's hear some takeaways.
I mean, that takeaway about the daily accountability. I already had one, and me and Anthony been working on one together. I literally just went and added Luke and Chella to mine. So that way they could see my daily activity. When she said, it stung me when she said, oh, you didn't reach back out to that person, you didn't follow up with that person. I got 3 people who I didn't follow up with that are all one quit. One is a director, and one's been in for 2 months, and I tried to been in since the middle of June, and I was trying to prospect them in April, but I never followed up. And then the other one, she's a director out in the Oak Brook office. And if I would have probably reached out to her, because I'd seen her profile a couple of times, but I didn't do it because I was like, I don't want to think I'm flirting with her. But I finally got over that. She got prospected and brought into PHP a week before I hit her up, and now she's a director. So that right there really stung. Like, I'm over here going through all these social media messages, following up with anybody who I've talked to in the past. Well, you guys can't see it, but in the past 3 months. And if for Anthony, you're on Apex accountability. He knows I've sent out, there's days where I'm knocking out sometimes 150, 200 messages. I'm still trying to catch Ricky when he said he does 300 a day and recruits 78 people a month, and he has a lifestyle. So if I'm gonna get up to that, I mean, I need to figure out how to send 500 so that way I can recruit my 78 people.
Oh man, I love that, Brandon. I love that stretch goal that you have of catching up. You know what I mean? And doing 500. Do it. You got it. I already see what's happening with you. Congratulations again on your promotion, dude. You're gonna kill it. You guys got it. You guys got it. You know, just keep, like she was saying, connect to that front end activity. So when you're sending out 500 messages a day, no doubt you're gonna be recruiting 100 people a month. So just keep doing that. That's awesome. Who else has a takeaway?
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
So today, me and Tim were driving, and this guy is staring at me. And Tim's like, "Hey, that's your guy right there." He's like, "Man, I'm ready to get started with you guys."
Nice.
So I asked for his number. I started putting it in. It was already in my phone. So the follow-up, guys, it's all about the follow-up. I know I'm very weak at that. But even today, we were at the gym, seeing this girl working out. Immediately, I tell people I'm married because, you know, that's accountability to my wife. And she landed up being EOS, you know, EOS, the gym. Her husband runs every single one of them through the US. So she got to meet Joe. She got to meet Tim. She got to see how we were working out. And she's going to be on board pretty soon.
Nice. Good job, Tommy. Tommy, you are a killer. You're a killer when it comes to prospecting. You literally get, out of all of us, I'm talking about everybody on Fortaleza, you get more numbers than anybody does. So absolutely do the fundamentals like she was saying. Absolutely follow up. You know, absolutely come to Phone Zone and just call all those numbers and get the energy that we have when we have the music and we're doing Phone Zone. Absolutely just do those things because you're a killer.
I take responsibility, guys, that I know that I'm not doing the follow-up like I should. But I'm trying to work more at it. Doing more better at it.
You got it, Tommy.
I do take a lot out of that. Thank you, Spring, if you're still on.
Awesome. Who else? We have time for. Go ahead, my baby.
I have something. So, front end activity. We never wanna look at our results and be like, oh, my results, man, well, that's discouraging me, so I'm not going to do any more front end. Oh, look at my results now, I'm not going to do any more front end. That looking at your results and being discouraged by your results is going to make you do less front end activity, and front end activity is what make everything happen. So yeah, I'm just going to be doing more and more front end activity and not looking at the outcome. And like you said, I'm going to let you measure the bank account and let that be the report card, and we'll see from there. But I really took that to heart, front end activity. So yeah, as soon as I get home, I'm about to go on my referrals list and just make a whole list and get moving on this front end activity. But that's my takeaway. Thank you.
I love it, babe. I know you. I heard what you said. Did you see that look in my eyes about the bank account, the report card? So a little more crazy. You saw it. So man, I love it, and you're so right too, because babe, you've seen like yesterday, for example, I sat down and made calls. There's been times where I can make 25 calls in a row and not get anybody to say yes to BOM, right? And then there's times like yesterday where I made maybe 5, 10, my first 5 or 10 calls between appointments. I'm like, okay, I need to do something, make some calls. Called these 5 or 10 numbers, whatever it was, and got 2 people to say yes, they'll be on BOM. So it's not, if you just, like Spring was saying, if you just keep putting in the activity, the people are there. Everybody needs us, right? Everybody needs our help. Everybody needs to be at BOM. Everybody needs to get coded. Everybody needs to be at big event. Like all these things, everybody needs that stuff, but it's just, it's a numbers game, like the book that we were reading, it's a numbers game. So again, you can never measure, you never know either, like who's going to be that superstar. I know we had I think it was the last agent training or the one before that, I had a new agent on the training, and it was so funny because she said it was basically about the follow-up. We had a guest speaker there that was speaking to us in that agent training, and she texted me and said, you know what? I almost got started with their team a couple months ago. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I caught you first because I followed up, right? Because I followed up with you. So now she's a part of our team, right? So anyway, that stuff is really important, guys. I think it's so important that we take all that stuff into account and just really get back to the fundamentals, because I don't care how, it's not about, I think they've been saying this too, it's not about like how fast you can get somewhere, but it's about how far you can go. And I really am taking that to heart with myself in the business, because it's not about the contract level that I'm at. It's not about that. Yeah, it's nice to be at a specific contract, but it's not about that. It's about how many people am I going to actually take with me? When was I going to finally start taking it serious about getting people through these agent filters that I have sitting on my desk every day? Like, when was I going to start making sure, like, who am I to, this is the thing, who am I to decide, that person's an A-type agent. That person's like, I have no idea until I ask them, right? I have no idea. So you got to give people options. You got to get them through the filters, and then, let them filter themselves out. I have my little, like Joel taught me, you know what I mean? For my fast start, you guys, I'm not playing right now. BTC is not playing. So I'm just really grateful.
I got something real quick.
Yeah.
Something so powerful, with what Spring said is, guys, the challenge here is run a perfect week and tell me this doesn't work. Run a perfect week and tell me this doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work, is that we're not working, right? We're not running a perfect week, but man, magic is gonna happen, guys. Just front end activity, take on the challenge of running a perfect week, and then we can have a conversation. And we can let Spring know, hey, we appreciate you speaking to the team. This is how we appreciate you. We're gonna perform. We're gonna show you on the leaders board. But man, that was so awesome what she talked about. I'm so fired up. And she said it wasn't the fun stuff. Man, that's the fun stuff for me.
Definitely.
I have some to share too. That what the Spring say is so true, that and it happened to me. I know activity is equal to goal. It's true. And a little thing, it can make a big thing, because it doesn't matter if you have like just a little app, but you have like a more appointment. So you keep have more appointment. That is, I be follow up on that, a lot of appointment in a little app. It can be a big, because your community, your people, that they be mouth to mouth, they be trusting on you. And that's what I can accountability on that people, because I know that I seek it and I can see it grow from that appointment. So make them trust you, be real of you, and you can get, for right now, maybe just a little app for their kid, but when they see that, then the mom, the dad, the whole family, and then go next to their cousin, their friend, the whole thing, all like that. That's what the way that I run my business too. And also I'm the big on the follow up, and you have to know your people, your community, how trust that then you can give it to them, to be a true of you, to be real, to be that thing about them, that how you can help the family, and that they can see, that you didn't just want to run your business for the commission or for the money, all like that. So that became from that, just from a little thing, a little app, that can be a big for you. And that is so true, that you can be accountability. And I always have to be learned. I kind of like a behind of Joe all the time. So I try to see and learn from that, and try to put the people and level it to him, and put the people in front of him and learn in front of him too. So that is big thing for me, that I take it and I did it all the time in follow-up.
Awesome. I love that. Those are awesome points, Pat. And you're
Hey
really
guys, can I say one more thing?
referral stuff.
For everyone that all the guys, even the girls, man, I really want to get a day to work out, run the mountain or something, or walk it, because what that's going to do is that's going to encourage people. Last time WFG was out there on the mountains, and I know what the guy was trying to say. How much money did you make? But he was screaming it like a madman off the mountain. And if we could really show people that were there today, we were working out with a young kid that has a cannabis, his own business. He does the science of it, and his name is Araya. Really smart guy. And but it happened because we started working out with him. We started creating that team, and that's where Coach came in. We just got done painting the door right now, so I apologize for my shirt. Just building that common art, we're building so much. My brother-in-law was there yesterday, running the mountain with us yesterday, and he's like, he's going to be in really soon, because he's seen the brotherhood, he's seen the family part of it, how we're really taking care of one another. I mean, even Joel, Jonathan, are you still on the line?